I've consulted with thousands of organizations, and my leadership companies have trained over 10,000 companies in the past 35 years, Fortune 500 and government agencies. And I can tell you with absolute certainty, the biggest leadership blind spot isn't strategy. It isn't talent acquisition or even execution. It's feedback. But here's the thing. Most executives think they're good at giving feedback. They think feedback is a skill they mastered years ago. Well, they're wrong. Because what I've discovered working with thousands of leaders is this. Feedback isn't just a performance tactic. Feedback is a mindset intervention. And when you get that wrong, everything else suffers. Your culture erodes, your best people leave, and your strategy stalls. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 massive mistakes senior leaders make with feedback. And more importantly, I'm going to give you the exact framework to fix it, starting today. Mistake number 1, delivering feedback in the wrong mindset. Leaders often enter the conversation already frustrated, irritated, or emotionally charged. When that happens, the message feels like criticism instead of support. And then what happens? Your tone becomes sharp, your intent feels negative. That causes the employee to get defensive instead of receptive as soon as the conversation starts. So instead, when entering the feedback conversation, start supportive, not reactive. Before even addressing the issue, reset your mindset. Open with a supportive statement. Here are some examples. I want to talk you through this because I believe in your potential. Or let's discuss how we can improve this process. And I have a suggestion on presenting your report that will help you create an even bigger impact. When people feel supported, they listen. But on the other hand, when they feel attacked, they will protect. Mistake number 2, being vague about the behavior and the impact of that behavior. Oftentimes, leaders will talk in generalities instead of specifics. The result? The person doesn't even know exactly what they did wrong, and the importance of changing never becomes clear. Here's what being vague sounds like. You need to be more professional in meetings. The employee walks away thinking, what does that even mean? Was it what I said, what I wore, how I sat? They have no idea what to change, so nothing changes. So instead, be clear on both the what and the why. Effective feedback always includes the specific behavior and the impact of that behavior. Here's an example approach. In yesterday's meeting, you interrupted the client several times. That interruption disrupted the flow of the conversation, and the client left the meeting concerned and apprehensive. Providing feedback with clarity removes confusion, and the specifics drive improvement. Mistake number 3, waiting too long to address the issue. Most leaders avoid feedback because it feels uncomfortable. They anticipate conflict, defensiveness, or tension, so they delay or even avoid it. The brutal consequences of delaying feedback is that the problem just continues. Frustration builds, and eventually the leader blows up. I've seen it play out countless times. A manager notices someone showing up late for meetings. Week 1, they let it slide. Week 2, they're annoyed but say nothing. Week 3, they're fuming. Week 4, they explode. You're always late. This has been going on for a month. Now the employee feels blindsided and defensive, so instead, be timely. Address it early. Feedback is most effective when it's close to the event. Early conversations feel like coaching, while late conversations feel like punishment. Address it while it's small, not after it becomes a pattern. I call it coaching in the game. A good coach doesn't wait weeks to provide feedback. They give it consistently, as close to the event as possible. It's timely. Mistake number 4, talking at people instead of with them. Most feedback conversations end up as one-way lectures. What happens? The person shuts down. It feels like a reprimand, and ownership really never develops. Instead, when giving feedback, turn it into a dialogue. Ask questions. Create a two-way conversation. Here's some examples. What was your perspective in that moment? What do you think could have gone differently? What support would help you improve this? When people talk, they process. And when they process, they take ownership. And when they take ownership, the change sticks. Mistake number 5, ending the conversation without clarity or commitment. This one's crucial and easily missed. Too many feedback conversations end with, okay, thanks, and nothing actually changes. What happens? No accountability, no action, no improvement. So at the end of every feedback conversation, remember to define the next step clearly. What action will take place? It must end with an outcome and a follow-up. Clarify what will be done differently, who's responsible, and what success will look like. Here's an example of that. So moving forward, what's the change you're committing to? What's one action you'll take starting this week? Clarity creates accountability. Accountability creates results. Feedback delivered correctly creates shared accountability. When leaders get these 5 things right, feedback stops feeling like criticism and starts feeling like coaching. But let me be brutally honest with you. Just this week, I saw the consequences of 2 leaders that did not know how to properly give feedback. One lost a 20-year employee from it because the feedback was delivered with anger and ultimatums. In addition, another manager who didn't know how to properly deliver feedback attempted to do it via text messaging. It turned into a frustrated power play and a subsequent suspension, which created a whole team backlash. Because when feedback's done incorrectly, it doesn't just affect you and the person you're talking to, it infects the entire culture. It drains psychological safety. It massively impacts trust. And if you don't make these feedback shifts, that's going to happen to you before you know it. Now that you've figured out how to give feedback to your team, but what also matters is behind the scenes. Misalignment is killing your culture. So watch this video right here to see if your team is misaligned and exactly what to do. Thanks for watching. I'll see you here.